Hi everybody, Eddie Vegas here with yet another video review, this time of a game I really like called Factorio. It's a game where you make factories and signal chains to make more and more complex stuff. It's made by 4 guys and they don't even really have a development name. They don't have a developer's name, it's just 4 guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Take a look at the main menu here. There is a demo of this game, and if you get the demo, you'll be able to start the campaign, which is kind of a mini tutorial on how to get, that's called First Steps. And it's kind of a mini tutorial on to get you going and to make you understand the systems. It's pretty cool, but you won't really be able to play, you'll only be able to play that, and you won't be able to see any of this really cool map generation stuff. So if you make a new game, you're going to go to this screen here, and you can see that basically the options to set up the start of your game are very robust. You can set the amount of iron ore to how much you need to, and you can also set the size of the patch to be mined, and you can also set how much or little of it there is in the patch. So that's kind of interesting. That also goes for copper, stone, and coal, crude oil. Now here with the enemy base settings, you can make the game as easy or as hard as you want to. You can set size to small, and you can also set richness to very poor, which would make the enemies pretty weak. You also have peaceful mode here. Enemies never attack first, which is kind of interesting. And if you leave these spaces blank, it's going to make an infinite map a la Minecraft. So if I click on generate, all of a sudden, there I am in the main screen. Before we get into the game, let's go ahead and check out some of the options here. In terms of graphics, this is a pretty basic graphic game. It's in 2D and you really can't rotate the map, so what you see is what you get. You got a bunch of animated GIFs, but they're actually pretty well done. You can put it on multi-sampling 8 and it makes it look a little bit better when you're zoomed in. There's the basic sound things. Here you'll see that there's really a lot of hotkeys, which means it's kind of a complex game. The hotkey layout is not all that intuitive, but once you learn it and maybe have to remap a few keys, you'll feel pretty good about it. That's about it for the keys. You also have some options here. One of the options I like to point out is use item subgroups and use item groups. This will always keep your inventory sorted. Pretty much there's not really a whole lot of things. There's the autosave interval. You'll want to definitely have an autosave every once in a while. And that does it for the map options, excuse me, and game options. Now we're in the game. And you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. And as you can see, it's possible to zoom out quite far. First thing you're going to want to do with your last remaining 8 iron plates is make a couple of iron axes, with which you're going to do all your manual mining. And so you start chopping down some trees. Trees are good for a couple things. They're good for power lines. They're good to make more iron axes, because your iron axe will wear out. And you can see in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, there is your things. You can put armor. You've also equipped with a pistol with a few bullets. That'll get you to the beginning of the game. You also need a little bit of stone at the very beginning of the game, but it's not really a critical element. You'll be using stone to make your furnaces, to make your first little factories. And you're going to need some coal. Basically, coal is one of the most important elements in the game. Everything pretty much runs on coal. Your furnaces run on coal. Your steam engines run on coal. That's the way you generate electricity, is coal. You need a lot of coal, and you need to protect it against the monsters, because there's monsters in this game. And last but not least, You're going to need some iron. As a matter of fact, you're going to need a lot of iron because all the early technology is based on iron. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit to show you the really nice little effects there of the little chips of stone coming off as the guy chops. I think it's pretty cool. They really have taken care with the graphics here, despite the fact it's in 2D and rather basic. It's still, when you zoom in, it's rather pleasing to look at. All right, it's time to make our first little factory here. They provide you at the beginning with a steam-powered, or rather coal-powered driller. So you lay that down, and you also have one furnace they give you. And with all that chopping that we've done, let's go ahead and put some coal inside the burner mining drill. And let's put some fuel of some sort. Thank God we've got some wood, and we've got our first signal chain. The burner mining drill digs out the iron, puts it inside the furnace, and the furnace turns it into iron plates. And you can see here on the right hand side, you can see the number of iron plates going up and the amount of wood going down. This is the first of many factories you are going to make. I did want to start off really, really simple. So here we have an overview with the 3 factories. I've gone ahead and made like little factories to get copper. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about copper, but copper's like a secondary but still very important thing copper is used for your more advanced things. And I've also got a steam-powered factory here to chop out some coal, because we're going to need lots of coal to run all our little factories. All right, here we've got a little problem, is that our stone furnaces stopped working, and the reason why is stone furnaces can only hold 128 iron plates, and then they stop working, they're all filled up. So what we're going to need to do is figure out some way of getting that steel plates out of the furnace so that this factory will never stop working. And the way you do that is you move to steam-powered electricity. You're going to need a pump. It's going to pump water out of the ocean. You're going to need a couple burners, and these things will heat up the water, which go at that point there into your power plants. And you put your power plants in there. And thank God we've chopped out a little bit of coal. We can go ahead and put some coal inside the boiler. And we'll put some coal in here. And we also need some power lines. That's another good thing that you can use wood for, by the way. That's why you're going to need some wood. And with the power lines, you're ready to start hooking up your electric mining abilities, which is a lot better. So I've run some electric lines out to my iron patch, and now we've got an electric driller that really is a lot more efficient than the basic driller. And we also have these things, which are inserters. This is really cool. Inserters will grab things from one side and move them to the other side. So we're going to flip this baby around so it picks up the iron that gets deposited on the ground. And then we're going to have the inserter put the iron inside the thing, the furnace. And then we're going to stick another inserter to take it out. And we'll have that inserter put it inside a wooden box. Now, we just need to power everything up and give the, I don't know why I can't remember this word, the furnace a little bit of coal. And there we go. We've got, at this point here, a self-sufficient signal chain. There you can see the little arms picking up the stuff and putting it inside the wooden box. And at this point here, this is going to run until we run out of coal inside the furnace. But once you get a little bit more advanced at the game, you'll figure out ways to keep that baby going too. All right, So I've got basically have set all the electrical stuff up, and I have my power plant down there at the bottom. I've got my copper up at the top, and I've got my iron over to the side. And now that we've got our electricity going, we can finally make a lab. And the lab is what allows you to progress down the tech tree. Basically, what we've been playing with is very, very basic stuff. And you're going to want to make that lab as soon as you get some electricity. So here it comes. And there we go. And now we have access to the tech tree. And as you can see, the tech tree is really deep, really long, and really arduous to conquer. Here are some of the things we can make. We can make these belts, the underground belts and splitters, which will split your conveyor belts. And we've also have turrets, which are going to protect our base. We need steel because steel is used in more advanced things. We can also get an additional toolkit. The toolkit's the band of 10 things down at the bottom if you need to have more things. Also the military, it's a good thing to get. We'll give you a machine gun and a shotgun. And so let's go ahead and research military. Now the problem is with researching is that researching doesn't just happen by itself. It needs these red beakers, and these red beakers need one copper plate and one gear. So I'm going to go ahead and manually make the thing. As you can see down at the bottom left, well, you could see it for a little while. You can see the progression of the things. Well, anyway, I've already made my 10 red beakers, and now I stuck them in the lab, and now the lab is starting to flash blue, and that means that it's researching military. You can see now that, for example, advanced electronics, which is a more advanced things, is going to require 100 red beakers and 100 green beakers, which are more complicated to make. And equally with construction robots, you need 50 of each. So this, finally, plastics need 100 and 100. And really what you're going to want to do is to automate the production of your red and green beakers with the factories to keep that research going at all times. All right, so here's basically a base that I've set up here myself to show you a little bit of the more advanced things. I'm going to go out and try to shoot some bad guys while I talk about my final thoughts. I really like this game. I think it's got this great progression of, wow, how does this work and what does this do? And when you finally learn what it does and actually get it set up so that it's actually working, it's a great sense of satisfaction. As you learn the systems, each one of your bases becomes better, more efficient, and more, let's say, thought out than the one before, which is really cool. Considering that you can pretty much set up any sort of game you want from super hard to super easy, each map becomes a new logistic challenge to try to figure out how to get all those elements together to make your little factories. I think the thing that sets this game apart from other games is not only the interesting way of making your factories, but also that there's monsters that will be attacking you. I think that is really cool. Unfortunately, the problem with monsters, I think, is that the monsters are going to be very hard to balance. Now, I should say that this game's in alpha right now. They're adding like lots of new features. They're adding, they're actually right now adding multiplayer, and they're probably going to be adding some other things, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But for the moment, the monsters I don't think really are balanced, but it is alpha. I think that the monsters need to be scaled to where you are in the tech tree, and as it stands right now, they don't necessarily have to be. If the monsters are too strong, then the player is going to feel like he doesn't. Oh, look, we've got a little attack here, and I definitely have messed up. I might die. If the player If the player is too strong, then the monsters really are not a problem because you can just basically wipe them out with your incredible defense. And if the monsters are too strong, then at that point there, the player is feeling like he's really not progressing. And what's going on here? What's this guy? Seems like he's wigging out. All right, then. I've got to kill these guys. I'm going to die here really soon. I'm going to die. No. Wow, I got out with like 1 point of health. Wow. Well, I never said I was really good at this game. Shoot again, shoot. Shoot at the guy, shoot. Come on, do it. Okay, back to the review. One of the planned additions is kind of an RTS style where you would make, with your factories, you would make robots that would go out and shoot the bad guys. I think that's a really good idea. As it stands right now, the game is set up so that there's really not very much reason to go out except to finish the tech tree. And I don't think that finishing the tech tree is a good enough reason to really get all the way to the end of this very complex tech tree. I think you need some more compelling reasons, such as expanding out and capturing territory, to really make you want to move out and capture the land and conquer the territory. So yeah, that's going to do it for my review. I really like this game a lot, and for people that like, interesting, more complex games, I think you'd really enjoy it, and so I recommend it's a buy. I'll put a link to the demo on the webpage down below, and until next time, another review. I do actually have another review planned, so I will see you guys on the flip-flop. Eddie Vegas, signing out.